Welcome back to Podcast 2024 here at HECC. We're in for our afternoon session. I'll let Diana introduce our guests this afternoon.
What a great first day. We are so excited. And to round out our podcast for the day, we have with us Diana Smith and Matt White from the Department of Education here in Indiana. And so we'll let them kind of pose. We're going to throw our first question just right away and jump right in. We know your names, but what about your role and your origin story in education?
All right, I'll go first. Hi, I'm Diana. Thanks for having us here. I love being in this space and chatting with both of you, Matt, of course, or Elvis. Let's see, I started off as a high school English teacher, actually. I did that for 8 years. I got my building level admin license and thought maybe I'd be a principal. But during that work, I got really invested in developing PD around tech integration, and I just really loved supporting teachers. So I took a full-time role as a tech coach, and through that experience, I got a lot of mentoring from one of the best tech directors on the planet. Shout out to Chris Bowers, and he kind of coached me into the tech director role. I did that for a while, and that's the last job I had before jumping over to the department, and that will be 4 years ago in May.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is not Elvis Presley, but it is Matt White. And I spent 20 years as a fourth grade teacher on the south side of Indianapolis, really working with all subjects, but enjoying, integrating technology, in meaningful ways into all of those things. I spent the last year plus during the pandemic as a fully online teacher. And I did really enjoy getting to build, build that program, build the things that students were doing. And then I'm coming up on this will be 3 years that I've been with the Department of Education as one of the digital learning specialists on our team. So it's been a great journey and continue to look forward to see where it's going.
In fact, Matt, wasn't your first day on the job at the HECC conference?
It was. Even though this is I'm coming up on a third year. This is actually my fourth HECC conference here because I was getting ready to get going, and this conference was going along, and so I joined up so I could kind of meet the digital learning team.
That is quite an initiation to your role to come to HECC.
That's a fantastic. That's a great
I love it.
Good start.
But it is a great thing because at HECC we always talk about it. You get to see and meet the people that you look up to that are online. You spend a lot of time online, and you two both. I watch you from afar online, and what you do for Indiana is amazing, and all of those pieces. It's nice to see you in flesh and see everybody on the HECC listserv. They do so much, answer so many questions. Definitely my questions because I have a lot of questions. It seems like. So.
Yeah, thank you.
So a question I have is, what is something you've seen at HECC that you didn't expect? I see something right now I didn't expect.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think that anyone expected Elvis. So Matt, you want to say why you are in the flesh as Elvis today?
Sure. We are really excited about the integration between Elvis, the LVIS rather than ELVIS, the licensing system now integrated with the Indiana Learning Lab. So you can go in, you can connect your Learning Lab account and Elvis, and then any PGPs you earn through attending live workshops, watching things on demand, using resources in the lab, that can all be, it's all integrated. And so it all connects with Elvis, which we're really excited about that change. And a lot of folks that we've talked to here today have been excited about that as well.
I'll be one of those folks that's excited because that's amazing news.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to make things so much easier. Yeah.
The learning lab in general is pretty amazing. We're definitely moving more and more of our teachers into the learning lab, being able to have some of our own personal PD for our district and move that into the learning lab. And now with the Elvis tie, it's just that much sweeter. It's like the whipped cream on top.
It is. Right? It's such a repository. Yes, yeah. All the great information that's in there. It's just.
I've been carrying my sign around today that says Elvis has entered the Learning Lab. So I've had quite a few people scan the QR code that goes to there's a short video in the lab that some sessions. And then actually later this month, we'll have Nate Walden on from 5-Star, who's going to kind of do a full session during PD with IDOE. PD with IDOE happening every Wednesday at 4 p.m. in the Learning Lab. So he's going to kind of talk through those things in that session.
Now that might have been a missed opportunity for a perfect Rick roll, though. You are good.
That's true. That's true. But it had to be an Elvis song.
That would have been more fitting.
Which one would you have picked?
Oh man, I don't know. Probably the Hound Dog.
So HECC is something I think we all look forward to every year. We have some roots here. What has been your favorite experience today here at HECC?
Yeah, so I think that, anytime you have a large group of people who have similar interests, similar goals, like one of the best things to do is just be able to have some of those conversations. A lot of the work that our team does is through supporting grants, right? And with that comes a lot of email communication that we do with deadlines and reminders, and so sometimes we might not know the faces as well as the names or the email addresses. So being able to see folks, to talk to them, to even answer questions about grants or about things that are in the Learning Lab, that's just really great to be able to do in a place and an environment like this.
What a beautiful space. We were talking before, we went on, but like this joyful noise behind us of all of the conversations taking place, all of the positive things happening, because we're all here for that same purpose, K-12 education and moving forward with our students. Speaking of moving forward, we could not talk about probably like one of the number one topics in education, the AI revolution. So how do you guys feel about it? I know you've done a lot of work. Grateful for the work that you've done, but let's talk about it.
Yeah. So we're just really excited to be able to support Indiana educators and students to have access to safe AI platforms that are really meant for education, that we can all feel comfortable putting in the hands of students. And what is so exciting about this is we have some really innovative leaders at the department. When ChatGPT came out in November of 2022, the leadership there was like, we got to do something, right? We got to jump on this. We have to make sure Indiana students and teachers are feeling supported. And so we did a pilot grant opportunity last school year that impacted 45,000 students and 2,500 educators. And we were really excited about those numbers at the time because, earlier that year, it was being reported that only 87% of teachers had any sort of PD on AI, which, that makes sense. So we were like, wow, we're going to be able to provide some professional development to 2,500 teachers in the state connected to those AI platforms that they were adopting as part of that grant. And we've just continued to try to learn from teachers that are in the classrooms. Matt's happy to take off his way.
Elvis talk.
So,
Elvis has left the building.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I distracted myself. So just getting in the classrooms and learning from teachers that are doing this with students and hearing feedback and allowing teachers to give feedback to the platforms themselves and to watch that sort of design process happen has been really incredible. And today, so 45,000 students, that's our first grant, but we've iterated on that grant a couple of times. And right now for this school year, we have over 106,000 students using safe AI platforms meant for PK-12 audiences. And we have over 9,000 teachers in the state of Indiana that have access to paid, safe AI tools. So that makes me really excited, and it's a good reminder of, doing grant work, there are humans at the other end of that receiving those benefits, and it feels pretty good.
It's definitely impacted my district, so we were able to roll out some things with you all. So.
Mine too, so I thank you.
It's pretty crazy to think that November 22 is when ChatGPT launched and how fast it comes. And I remember telling my administration staff that we won't have to really go look for AI. I think it's going to come find us in about everything that you do.
Yeah.
And it's headed that way, definitely.
Absolutely. So regarding AI in education, what's something about that excites you when you work with that?
Yeah. One thing that we are working on right now. Diana talked about the excitement with access, right? Getting students access to those safe and secure platforms. Professional development as it relates to teachers, we brought up as well. Probably what I'm currently most excited about is we're working on some resources and guidance for parents. We know that the old adage is that the parents are a child's first teacher, but it's absolutely true. And as all these changes, like you mentioned, they're all happening really, really quickly. And so making sure that parents have some of the information that they need in order to, help support, make decisions, all of those things. So we've done some work on that and hope to be putting that out for schools to use as they're supporting their communities, in the next couple months. So that's probably, there's lots of exciting things, but that's one in particular that I'm really excited about, and I know our team is.
I think that's a great resource because I think that's the hurdle sometimes is that parents just don't know where to start. Right. And so to have that guidance and that framework is going to be really valuable.
Yeah. It definitely goes back to that cliche of you don't know what you don't know. And really, there's a lot to learn about AI, and it's still evolving so fast.
Right. And we just had so many, informal, things that you hear from educators who might also be parents, and some of the questions that they are asking, and so really trying to put that together and have a resource, and then be able to build on that resource as well, right? When we, as we've said with our AI guidance and some other resources that we've put out, we always see those kind of as a starting point that then we can build on in the future. So. It's definitely something we're looking forward to.
Definitely. We talked about a lot of positives. So, every coin has two sides. So what's something that concerns you about AI in regarding student education?
Yeah, I think we have to be really mindful that all of our decisions and our policies locally and otherwise are really rooted in AI literacy. So making sure that we're understanding how AI works and how to use it, so that we're having conversations with parents and students and educators about data protection and cybersecurity and all of those things, making sure that the platform that you're using with your students or for yourself, that you know about the data share agreement that you're entering into, those sorts of things. We're all education technologists. We all have ridden multiple waves of technology innovation. We've had calculators and Chromebooks and Google Docs and the internet. And, I think anytime those things become available, there are multiple camps of individuals that are like, I'm ready, I was doing this yesterday, let's go, no fear. And then on the other side of the spectrum, there is a little bit of fear of the unknown, and I think that's totally valid. And it was interesting to kind of watch this conversation evolve from the state perspective. Back in 2022, the conversation did focus, I'm just going to be honest, a lot on kind of the fear of academic dishonesty, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was definitely supporting educators to navigate those conversations with students. And what does that look like in the classroom? And when we did that first pilot grant, we kind of knew it was going to be really important to offer transparency. We wanted to be able to tell the story of what was happening in Indiana classrooms. And we have a member on our team, her name's Heather Herring, and she's kind of our research expert. So she led a research project that surveyed those 2,500 teachers that I mentioned that actually did this work that first year. And we got 625 responses, which for a survey is pretty good. And I thought the insights from that survey were really telling related to that cheating conversation. So there were 7 open-ended questions in the survey. So educators could write anything that they wanted. And out of 625 responses with 7 different open-ended questions, the words like plagiarism, academic dishonesty, cheating were only mentioned 15 times. And so I think that really does kind of paint a picture just in a year's time of how we kind of have moved past the fear of cheating with AI and more towards, wow, this saves me a lot of time. Wow, this can really help adapt some things in my classroom. So let's see what we can do with it.
I like that. And that's a good segue too to the next question. because we know that, I don't know about you guys, but every time I look, there's a new AI tool popping up here and there. It's like we're little bunnies. And so, what is the favorite tool you've encountered that you use that you like?
Yeah, absolutely. There are so many, and like you said, I think I wrote a couple of weeks ago that sometimes I feel confident that I'm caught up on a Monday, and then by Wednesday I feel like, well, either I was wrong or now I'm behind because something new is out. So one resource that we have in the Indiana Learning Lab is related to the different. Diana mentioned some of the grants, the Indiana pilot grant, and then we kind of continue some of that support through the digital learning grant. And another grant that supports AI-supported alternative education. And we've always had a list of vendor requirements that schools can use and that we can use as those grants are, as schools are seeking those grants. So we have had 9 platforms that have been selected by schools in Indiana that have met those vendor requirements. And we brought all of them into the Indiana Learning Lab, and they each did a session, 45 minutes to an hour, and they were available live, and so we had lots of folks live, and we had even more, accessing those sessions on demand, and it's really a great. We could say it's a great starting point if you're trying to make some of those decisions, but also if you kind of been experimenting and you want to see what else those platforms can do, that content is absolutely there. So I guess that's a little bit of a cheat on your question and saying that the 9 things are a favorite, but we thought that collection of sessions really went well, and I think that a lot of folks would find that useful.
I was able to hop into a couple of those live sessions, and they were really good. And a couple of the platforms I knew about, but I learned things. And then there were several that were brand new to me, so I appreciated those being put on my radar.
Yeah,
so I could check into them to see if it fit a need.
And what I liked about how most of them flowed was that the beginnings were often pretty simple. Like if you're just getting started, here's the things that you might need to know. But as we got half an hour in, we're looking at some of the more advanced features and things that students might really find valuable related to personalizing learning. Teachers might find really valuable when it comes to saving some of the time that teachers have to spend on all those tasks. So kind of I like how they ended up being kind of structured.
Yeah, it's 2 things I'm always looking for. Number one is the productivity piece. Can it save me time? Can it help me out? And then I'm looking at that equitable piece to provide a resource to students that may not always have a tutor in place or have somebody to help them with things. If they can have access to that, that is a powerful tool in their hands to help grow their learning.
Yeah.
So let's take a break from the AI stuff, because I know we'll probably circle back and get to it. Let's ask a little bit more off question. Who would play you in a TV or a movie series?
Okay. Can I cast you, Diana?
Just remember, I'm your boss.
I think I've got a good choice. I kind of see Diana as like a Rose Byrne, maybe, kind of like go in that direction, from I think she was in Insidious, or I don't know.
Damages, I think.
Halloween recently, but
I'll take it.
I think I'd go that direction.
Nice.
You're gonna cast me.
I was going to say, turnabout's fair play. Now
Yeah.
you get to cast in.
So Matt has he went from Elvis wig, but he also has a new do. So Matt's look is pretty recent.
Yeah.
And ever since he shaved the head, I'm getting like Stanley Tucci vibes.
Okay. I can go with that.
He's an incredible actor. So.
All right, there you go. It sounds like the 2 of them together, starring in the next blockbuster.
About AI.
And
There you go.
the learning team.
Imagine before we're done with this podcast, we can have AI write us a script.
Yeah, we do.
So,
Just has to be able to give it credit and cite.
That's right.
another question on those lines. What favorite crumble cookie do you have?
I'm going to just pick, in general, anytime I'm looking at a cookie platter, whether it comes from crumble cookie or a local grocery store, I'm headed towards oatmeal raisin cookies. So I don't know. It's kind of classic, maybe a little boring, but I got me through to myself.
I'll take anything with a cream cheese frosting. So like I think carrot cake is a flavor that's been out recently. I could go for that.
We just tried the dirty dough, so the new cookie place coming around.
Okay.
Tried all those. It's kind of neat. It's like a baked cookie with cookie dough on the inside.
Oh.
So it's like almost a stuffed cookie.
Wow, that sounds like it would be really rich.
Cookie stuffed cookie.
This time of year, I'm a holdout for the Little Debbie Christmas tree cake. So
I love your posts about this. Year.
You know, I live in a tiny rural area, so we don't have crumble too close to us, but I have a local baker that is doing crumble dupes.
Okay.
And so she gets some, of course, and I like to hobby bake. In fact, I brought a bunch of cookies for HECC this week.
they're delicious, by the way.
I was supposed to say that Kyle's cookies are my favorite cookies.
Kyle's cookies are really good. Kyle and I have a little competition going, but we're also good buddies planning our cookies. But
I just have this envision of Kyle when he decorates them. I don't know if you've all seen them out there. They're just absolutely fabulous. Decorated. I see him with like these microscope goggles on, being very precise, like the jeweler lens ones.
the projector makes all the difference because you can project that image on there and trace it, do what you want with it. It's great.
You should do a podcast about cookie decorating. I'd watch it. Yeah.
Be solid.
It'd be awesome. It'd be fun.
I'm more along the lines of getting one of the printers, just let it print on top.
I like my buttercream, which maybe doesn't do as much pretty, but I like the flavor of a good buttercream icing on a sugar cookie.
We're closing in on our time. We probably got time for maybe one, maybe two more questions.
Okay.
So let's go with, if you were going to pick a mentor for about AI, who would be someone that you would pick to look up to and watch?
Well, I'm going to give you a very state agency answer here. So it's really important to us that we are connecting Indiana educators with organizations that are really leading this work nationally. So we look to teachai.org and really watch what Pat and Pradit is doing there. We pay attention to, of course, CETA and COSIN, the guidance and the toolkits that they put out to support educators locally and policymakers and school boards. I think all of those resources are really valuable. So those are kind of like our North Stars of what we watch. And then we really let that kind of shape the guidance that we develop at the department.
It's definitely that guidance is key right now. And it's only 2 years old, so there's still a lot of policy pieces and guidance that need to be rolled out. You guys are doing a wonderful job leading the way, being the torch in front of the pack.
Yeah, if people haven't gone to TJI's website, there's just a lot of resources there.
Toolkit.
There's a toolkit that they have. They have various letters that you can use for parents, some slideshows that you can pull slides and take those and kind of make them your own. So there's just a lot of great resources on that.
This morning that came up, I was able to facilitate one of those Tech Come and Go sessions, and it was about AI guidance and policies in your district. And right away, somebody said, lean into the state guidance, which they got a lot of praise for how clean and organized it was, but then also think that resource was mentioned a lot. TJR.
Yeah,
It's the best.
Well, we got one more question. You got time for one more?
Sure.
absolutely.
All right. So how have you changed your mind or position on AI over the last year? Has that changed or has it stayed the same? You kind of answered that a little bit in the past.
I think personally, we've just been kind of pedal to the metal and finding ways to provide access. But Matt and my team, we get out there a lot and try to get into classrooms. And so it's the individual student stories of like hearing how it impacted one student that really continues to light a fire under us to do that work to stand up that access. Matt, I want to throw you on the spot, but do you have examples?
Yeah, absolutely. Diana mentioned the AI pilot grants, and so we were lucky enough to get lots of invitations to come and see those, and as with future grants, we hope to be able to see more. But just that chance to talk to the teachers and the students also. One teacher talking about how using that an AI platform was able to help one of her English learner students who had a proficiency level 1 to be able to participate in some of the same things that the rest of the class was doing, and how excited he was to do that. And hearing a 12th grade English teacher talking about how she was helping the students to prompt AI to get feedback about their writing, but then the students talking about the different ways that they were using it, and one student talking about how she was sometimes felt like her math teacher might have been moving a little too fast for her, and she was able to then use that AI program to help break some of those things down. Right, those individual stories which help us to know some of the things that we can be sharing from the state to help to shape the initiatives that we have.
I think it's a true testament of that. It may be starting with cops and that funding, but it's getting all the way to where it matters the most, and that's the students, right?
Yeah, it's been really important for us to be able to get those perspectives as well, right? To hear the administrators, hear the teachers, hear the students, and kind of be able to put all of those things together.
Such an exciting time, I think. I mean, change is always hard and it's scary, but I think the promise of what it can do for us is exciting. To provide resources to students, to save us time, because none of us are getting any less on our plates to do. So I'm kind of excited to see where it goes and learn more about and make myself even more literate in AI, because it's a science.
Yeah, absolutely.
We really appreciate you, and on behalf of the board, we really appreciate you coming out on the podcast. I'd recommend to any attendee listening to stop by your all's booth, give you a shout, maybe take a picture of Elvis.
There you go.
That's right. An autograph. Here comes Elvis.
Here it comes. Oh, I gotta make sure we get it on the right direction. There you go.
So, oh my God.
Close us out.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
How can we top that? So thanks for joining us for our PM session for the first day. We're going to be back tomorrow morning. We got a couple of exciting guests lined up for the morning. Day 2 of HECC. It's always a good time here. So join us, and thanks for being here today.